Today we're going to be talking about an amazing idea I had, and that is if you could resell your cars to other players at the new dealership house inside of Driving Empire. But before we discuss this, make sure to subscribe and drop a like in this video. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so this is the new Wait For It dealership right here. You know, it says Wait For It dealership, but it actually is like technically a housing game. You go to houses and you can see your house, Wait For It dealership, right? This is the only dealership house they have in the game so far. You know, they just added this a few days ago, but I find it quite interesting because I feel like, you know, they wouldn't add something like this if they weren't planning on adding functionality for it. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. A house as a dealership? I mean, it's a cool concept and all, but it's kind of weird. I've never heard of anyone living at a dealership, so they potentially could have added this to maybe be functional in the future. Now, keep in mind they're, you know, working on revamping the map and stuff, and they're making, you know, they're also working on making some game changes. I've heard, you know, a few rumors like that and stuff. I don't know if that's completely true, but I do know they're working on a new map. Now, maybe this could mean in the future, in this new map with some new changes, you could actually sell your vehicles for maybe a profit from here, or maybe even to other players. Now, what I mean by a profit is, you know, we already have the sell feature in game, but you lose like, I think 30% of the car's value or something around there by selling them through that system. So instead, maybe if you spent the money on this dealership, which I believe is like $2 million, maybe you could, instead of losing money, you could get the full amount back, or even more money if you go to sell a car, right? But that's just one potential. What if another potential is they actually made it so you could resell your cars to other players? Now that one excites me most because you see these here. These are what they like to call helixes. Obviously we all know what these are. They're Koenigsegg's. But you know, technically because they're not licensed, they had to, you know, take them off sale, and they're pretty rare because they're off sale. And I'm sure, you know, other players who don't own these would pay a pretty penny, you know, to get their hands on one of these. Like, let's say I'm missing a Koenigsegg. I actually am. I'm missing the Koenigsegg Agera 1-to-1. I don't have that one. I would probably pay one of you guys who had it maybe $10 million over the value that it's worth. So let's say it's worth like $10 million, I think. I would pay one of you $20 million for that car. I'm serious. Like, if they actually had that feature, I could literally overpay you guys for one of those cars, for example, right? And I'm sure I'm not the only one who would be willing to overpay for a rare car. Let's say, you know, for example, you missed out on the NASCAR event and you really want yourself a NASCAR. Well, I could resell this at my dealership and be like, hey, I'll sell you my NASCAR for whatever price I want to make up. Now, maybe Driving Empire could have a recommended price or a minimum and maximum so people can't get scammed. So something like, let's say the NASCAR is worth 300K. They could have a minimum set at 250K and a maximum at 400K to guarantee that no one can get scammed by the system, right? And then obviously the value will go up or down based on how they're selling in the system or something. I don't know, I'm thinking too advanced and ahead here for now, but just hear me out, you know, Driving Empire adds this dealership house, right? In the future update, they add functionality to it that could either be A, reselling it for more of a profit through the dealership, which could be a reason to buy this dealership, or B, reselling it to other players in the server. So let's pretend I'm a player. I can go up to this car, and I could just go up here and maybe it would prompt me to click a something. I don't know. There could be like a little UI screen and it could say, would you like to buy this car from blah 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 player's dealership or something like that, right? And I could say yes, and it would tell me the price, of course. And that could be a cool way, you know, to a new money-making method, I guess you could say, because you could, you know, resell rare cars and go find them for cheaper in other servers and then resell them again. Like car drop shipping, car reselling, I don't even know, but it just adds a whole new element to the game. Now, obviously, I already explained, you know, some limitations that would need to be put in place, such as minimum and maximum, to make sure nobody gets scammed, nobody overpays, none of that stuff. But, I mean, it's a really cool concept, and also it could offer a way to get, you know, some really rare cars. Like, I have like about 10 or so cars in the game that I do not own. I have every off sale, every on sale, besides like 10 vehicles. I'm missing 10 vehicles. So I would definitely, you know, overpay a lot of money. You see, I have a bit of money to spend, and I'm sure, you know, there's some really rich people in this game that aren't just YouTubers, that are normal players that would also overspend to get some rare cars. So it could definitely be a really interesting feature. Now, another really interesting thing to think about is there's a game called Car Dealership Tycoon, and the features we just talked about, well, that would bring up a lot of competition for Car Dealership Tycoon and make Driving Empire an even bigger game. And who wouldn't want Driving Empire to be bigger? I mean, that would just be amazing. You know, Driving Empire, it would help it grow as a game. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Like, it would bring competition to another game, And it would make Driving Empire probably more successful because let's be honest, you know, Driving Empire, it just looks better. It has licensed vehicles, and personally, I think it's a better game, at least. I know some of you guys might disagree with that, but hey, you know, it'll definitely give Car Dealership Tycoon a run for its money, I think, and you know, that could be interesting, you know, to see what Driving Empire would do if it would grow from it as well. Now, another idea I have is for them to add more dealership houses because, you know, this one's cool, but it's kind of small. You know, we only have 3 spots, and if you're trying to, you know, mass resell these cars and you become a professional car reseller if they were to add that, I don't think 3 spots is gonna cut it, I'll be honest. We need some more spots, so hear me out. I do have a few ideas. So, first off, what if, you know, you have different size dealerships? We have the small one, we have a large one, and then over here, we could have a medium one, you know, medium sized. That could be really cool, but wait, what if they also did licensed dealerships? I'm talking your own Lamborghini dealership, your own McLaren dealership. Hear me out. That could be really cool. Your own Pagani dealership. I know it's a far-fetched idea, but what if at these dealerships, like, you could only sell or resell vehicles from that brand? I don't know if the brands would like that too much now that I think about it, but I mean, hear me out. Like, we had McLarens, for example, right? And let's just say, pretend that this is a McLaren dealership here, right? I could resell my McLaren, you know, let's say this is a resale spot. I could be reselling McLarens. I don't know if, you know, these licensed brands would like that exactly. I don't know how they would feel about that, to be honest. Maybe they would like that. Maybe they think it's cool that, you know, players could have their own McLaren dealership in game or something. I don't know the logistics of all that. But obviously it's definitely something interesting to think about, like having licensed dealership where you can only sell cars from that brand, like maybe even a limited time, like limited dealerships, limited houses. You know, we've seen something like that before with where is it? I don't know what houses they are, but there are some limited houses, I think. Like, for example, let's see, right over, oh my god, is it hidden? Okay, well anyways, there's the Halloween event house, that one's limited, but I think, you know, limited dealerships is kind of a weird thing to say because, like, they're technically houses, but we have limited vehicles. What if you had limited edition licensed brand dealerships, or, you know, like full-time purchasable dealerships, like your own McLaren dealership house? Imagine that. Like, it's just such a cool idea, but I don't know the logistics of it all. And I don't know if all brands would like that idea because, you know, sometimes brands really are like really specific about how they want their brand portrayed and how they want their brand to be imaged. And I don't know if they would like the idea of, you know, let's be honest, like 10 to 11-year-olds running McLaren dealerships in a video game. I'm not saying that they'd hate it, but I don't know if they would love that idea, but still a really cool concept. But that is going to be everything for today's video. I truly hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like. I would truly appreciate it. Subscribe to the notification bell so you never miss another upload. Check out the video on screen here. YouTube thinks you'll like it, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.